Hello, friends. I was just attempting to not think about thinking and contemplate about contemplation, and I think I'll take a break and talk about Rupert Sheldrake's The Science Delusion. Rupert seems to point out that science has moved from a method of inquiry in which we can learn more about our world into more of a belief structure akin to religion, where you're giving a set of tools, don't stray from the tools, giving a set of belief, thoughts, and ideals, and that to stray away from them, those ideals and thoughts are a way to get yourself labeled as a pseudoscientist, as Rupert himself has done. This TED Talk, as a matter of fact, had been banned by the president of the TED Foundation for interesting means, which we don't need to get into, but the video is still very available online. Rupert points out that many Western minds are thinking that science is the end-all, the be-all, and the way that we will produce well into the future. And I can't blame society and the way we think because of the great gifts that technology have given us. But there are still great areas within science where we can expand, and it seems that some of these dogmas or beliefs within science are keeping science within a box that's unable to expand and grow, and Rupert is attempting to point this out. And this is why I appreciate him, and I'll share those dogmas with you now. Number one is that nature is like a machine. We are like machines. Everything around us acts as a set of rules and laws, and it is only because of a bunch of little bits that are added up to be big bits, to be complex bits such as you or I, and there's nothing more to us than the same kind of processes within a robot. Number two, a second dogma of science, that matter is unconscious, that these bits and bytes are only little material objects that once assembled together through some sort of process which science has not yet fully understood, give rise to life and to action and to thought. Number three would be the laws of nature are fixed and constant, that things such as gravity or the speed of light are set in stone, have been that way since the beginning of time, and will remain that same way, that same weight or speed or volume for the duration of the existence of this reality. Another dogma would be that the total amount of matter and energy are the same also, along with the laws. And this is something that Rupert disagrees with. He believes in much more of a fluid or ebbing and flowing way of energy and matter to be. The fifth dogma of science that Rupert points out is that nature is purposeless. We organic robots are simply moving about as a series of causes and effects and chemistries colliding and compounding and reproducing, and there is no reason, there is no plan. We are just doing what we're doing because of those inherently unconscious things within us. Number six is that hereditary is material and only material, that any looks or any resemblances or thinking that we have in common with our ancestors can be found within our genes, our DNA, and other chemical or material, tangible things that science can find. And if we haven't proven it yet, we certainly will, and that is the belief within science. Number seven, like hereditary being material, scientists believe that memory is material and resides in the brain. This has not yet been proven in any facet, although we can see the effects of some stimulation of memory on various imaging equipment of the brain, but it has not yet been proven or shown how memory is stored chemically, where it is located, and why it is there. Rupert believes it is not neurospecific. Number 8, that mind is in the head, or a cerebrocentric view, and that our thoughts only reside between our ears, specifically in our brain. That we do not know how consciousness, which is a great thought experiment in itself, to think about thinking and to wonder why we are conscious, if we are conscious, if that seems to be the only thing we can be certain of, that we, regardless of what this is outside of our experience, that we are experiencing that thing. And mainstream scientists believe that mind is in the head. I am viewing this room, and apparently there is a small version of this room within my mind, and that's where it is, all this information is extrapolated from. Rupert does not believe that. Number 9, that psychic phenomena are impossible. Things such as ESP or levitation, or having a gut feeling of someone looking at you, or having the hair stand up on your back. And some of these things Rupert has come up with experiments to get into to allow a little bit more scientific data to be found, and still he's labeled as a pseudoscientist. Number 10, that mechanistic medicine is all that works. Specifically that pills or chiropractic adjustment, which has just been recently labeled a non-pseudoscience, has the stranglehold on medicine, that only something that you can touch, taste, feel, smell, or hear, probably not hear, but only those things can give rise to a more healthy body. These are things that Rupert and myself disagree with. I think there are far more things going on that meets the eye specifically, and that given enough time or openness, with science or without, that we will become a little bit more learned of things that are going on outside of our perception. A few questions I'd like to leave the viewer with are: do you think that science has confined itself into a belief system? Some of you may think that everything I've said or that Rupert says is preposterous, that that's the way to the future, that that's how we have all the technology at our disposal, and why fix something that isn't broke? Number 2, where do you act, in my words, against the stream of common thoughts or actions? Where are you a little bit weird or goofy? I'd just like you to think in your own life about something that you do that your friends think are weird, or your colleagues, or perhaps your family members would point out that maybe you put peanut butter on your ice cream and that's seen as weird. I'd just like you to think about that. And lastly, I'm asking, can you identify things presently that may seem ridiculous in the future? I think this is a nice way to start to shed away that egocentrism that we have as a species, as a people, and especially in the scientific realm. And that if we can humble ourselves a bit and realize and step back that we're living in homes made from the dead carcasses of trees, and that we're running around in machines with rubber wheels or rubber tires that are melting off with every revolution, and that they're fueled and propelled forward by small explosions that occur after we ignite them with an energy source. And I don't think it's so far-fetched that somewhere in the not-so-distant future, people will look back on us and look at us with scorn and dismay, and think of us as being idiotic whenever we think of ourselves as being so high and mighty on a technological level, that we just need to keep doing the same thing and keep refining and tweaking what we're doing right now, and that is the end all and the pinnacle of society. And thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Namaste.